I want to look briefly at some of the parallels and opposites that we believe and hold within ourselves, harboring information from the past that we've partnered with when we were seeking truth in an absence and awareness of what truth was, when we were constantly seeking and striving for gain and progression and running from inertia and stagnation, afraid of lack and thinking that there was something that we had to do to experience abundance other than partner with the truth of the free gift that has been extended to us eternally. I want to look at the need that we have for crucifying our belief system and separating ourselves entirely from everything we've thought we have known up until the point that we've encountered truth in the holy instant, where the awareness that all has been embedded in us, freely given from the source who created us perfectly and whole. There's a ton of information in the society that we live in. There's a ton of experts that flaunt their degrees and their knowledge and their intellectual prowess in front of us. And it is very easy to get caught up in the presentation as you seek in the dark, trying to find another way in other than the door. Because when you're trying to get in the kingdom with things that are illegal to the kingdom, you can't go in through the door, because the door will make you pay the cost of putting your burdens down and entering the gates with praise and thanksgiving, as is the prerequisite for entering the gate. You'll never experience truth. You'll never rejoice and throw your hands up in praise walking around trying to hold on to your burdens. You actually like your burdens. You're defined by your burdens. You're identified by your burdens. You think you are your burdens. If you laid your burdens down like that song that grandma used to sing, who would you even be? What would you do all day? Because all day you're in your head trying to find solutions to the things that you've labeled as burdens, tending to your burdens, running from your burdens, talking about your burdens, trying to escape your burdens, trying to be distracted from your burdens, thinking about your burdens, or creating more burdens from your partnership with your burdens. And then talking to other people about how you can't seem to escape the experience of life that seems fixed and rigged, and trying to figure out why such a good God would allow for such a good person like you to have so many burdens. You were never designed to experience burdens. You were never designed to harbor burdens and bury burdens and carry burdens and try to sneak into the kingdom of eternal life and everlasting peace while still holding on to and carrying strange attachments to your burdens. You know, when you say you love somebody more than you ever have loved anybody in the world, what do you do with that person? You talk to other people about that person. You spend your time thinking about that person. You try to talk to that person, get them to understand you. You give them whatever gift you can muster, whether physical, verbal, figurative, to express the love that you have for them. But what do you do when you say you hate somebody more than you hate anybody else? You talk to other people about them. You give your time and attention in private to thinking about them and why you hate them so much. You oftentimes try to get them desperately to understand why they suck so bad and why not only why you hate them, but why they should hate themselves. And not only why they should hate themselves and you hate them, but why everybody in the world should hate them and would hate them if they saw what they saw. So either way you go on this scale of special feelings for a special person, you still do the same exact thing, fully convinced that it's two different presentations. I hope you can see that. But we gotta move on, because I want to get into breaking down the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene through the lens of truth. Because as I was studying and rocking out on my weekly this week, I got ready to sit down and make me a goal sheet, keep my goals and my accomplishments in front of me, keep the things that I need to get done and want to get done in front of me, so that I can be more cognizant and make sure I'm on task and make sure I'm organized and using my time constructively. I thought about it. I was like, man, maybe I could throw some of the 48 Laws of Power up at the top of my goal sheet to reinforce the things that I need to know. And when I got ready to do my goal sheet, I pulled up the 48 Laws of Power that I haven't read since I was a child. I read it a couple times as a kid, and I think I read it when I was about 19. But I pulled it up and I was looking at it and I was like, man, this information is totally contradictory to what I know to be true. And it's not because the information that Robert Greene is sharing in 48 Laws of Power is not factual on the physical plane, where those who inhabit the plane are often delusional, filled with darkness, ignorant of their true design, in pursuit of many things, performance-driven, and operated by fear and control. Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, is a manuscript for operating and conducting yourself in a expression of illusionary power within an illusionary experience on an illusionary plane. For real. I saw a mental picture the other day. I was carrying a plate as the cook and the server, taking the plate to myself. I was sitting at the table. It was actually a counter for, factual purposes. I was sitting at the counter. I was also carrying myself a plate. The plate had cabbage on it, quinoa, some chicken, something else I can't really recall. But I was walking over, carrying the plate to the counter to myself so that I could indulge in a meal to edify myself physically within my imaginary picture. And I dropped the imaginary plate. I dropped it. When I dropped the imaginary plate in the imaginary room that I was walking through to get to the counter where the imaginary me was sitting, you following? It was mud down there. It was a big puddle of mud. Don't ask me why Source be teaching me like this. Just rock with my picture. So I dropped the food in the mud. I bent down and I scooped all of the contents of the plate back onto the plate, and I got ready to take it back over to myself. I had my back turned over at the counter waiting for my food. So it's not that I saw the food get dropped. It's not that I saw the food get scooped back on the plate. But me as the server asked within myself in the imagination, how much contamination is too much in the conversation of intake and digestion? If I sprinkled a little bit of poison on a lot of your food, would you still eat it? Would you scrape off the top part? If the food got dropped in the mud and put back on the plate, it's no longer edifying. It's no longer even edible. It's contaminated. If there's one piece of hair in my Chipotle bowl. I can pull the hair out and sit it to the side and keep eating my food if I want to be contaminated by the contents of the bowl that the hair was found in. You and I think differently, I guess, because we carry lives of illusion, lives of separation, partnerships with delusional paradigms and concepts that just are not true. And then we run out and we seek truth, and then we say we found it, and then we deposit it in the same tank that we say was toxic and needed to be fixed in the first place. And inside of there becomes a mixture that creates a monster that people around you start describing as somebody that just don't know what they want, somebody that's impossible to please, somebody that just be doing stuff, somebody that can't control their emotions. It's a bunch of different masks, a bunch of different faces, a bunch of different expressions of this inner confliction because of paradigms that are at war with each other, because they are polar opposites, do not agree, but you are trying to carry the both of them. And at different points of your life, at different moments throughout the day, you're cognizant of one or the other, and they drive you. So we got to crucify ourselves mentally in the aspect of getting rid of all that we thought we knew and renewing ourselves daily with truth. The first law of 48 laws of power is never outshine the master. There is a level of truth there, if you know how to see truth. When Robert Greene wrote the passage, what he wanted you and I to understand, and what he wanted you and I to be cognizant of, was there is never a time where you and I should make the people who are superior to us feel as though they are not. Robert Greene tells us to make our boss feel as if he is more intelligent than us, even if he or she is not. Because you don't want to outshine the master. You don't want to upset the false system of power. You don't want to play with the hierarchy. You don't want to mess with the supremacy, because if you go to messing with the people above you, they just may do something that affects you negatively that you can't stop, and you just might end up getting hurt. Do you see all of the illusions that have to be partnered with in order for you to think this way? You have to believe that you live inside of an experience where there are people, things, beings that are superior to you. I understand that there is a judge that swings a gavel, and if my name is called on a court docket and I stand before him, whatever he says that is supposed to happen to this body is probably going to happen. And if I resist it, there'll probably be consequences for this body. But that judge cannot tell me what to do with I am on the inside of me. That judge can send me to a box. That judge can hide me away from society, but that judge can't make me sad. That judge can't make me partner with the idea that I was built for poverty. That judge can't make me think or feel anything. Anything I think and feel in front of the judge or after I leave from in front of the judge is all on me by choice. And that's our design. That is your power. The people that be lying on you, the people that be lying to you, the people that be lying about you, you don't have to give your attention and power to. Pay them no never mind. There is nobody who's superior to you. The creator of all things, who created you in his image and likeness, stands eye to eye with you by choice and design. Don't you ever drop your head in front of one of his creations, as you stand as one of his creations as well. Created as everything that the person you're standing in front of is. Created just as perfect, just as whole, just as complete, with just as much abundance locked inside of you. I don't care if you got $3 and the person in front of you got 3 million. You hold your head high and you know that y'all got the same creator. Your daddy, my daddy, everything you got I can get to. I might have been distracted. I might ain't got it yet. But just know, you ain't did nothing that I can't do. And the crazy thing is, some of the people who have acquired paper, some of the people who have had the ability to go and lie on credit documents and get credit lines that other people don't have, you got it by scribing. You got it by driving yourself into the ground, making yourself sick, making yourself unhappy, working your fingers to the bone, tending and caring for the people that you don't even like no more. Nobody's superior to you. You don't have to worry about how you make other people feel, because people are going to feel how they choose to feel. You can be as nice to your boss as you want to be. If your intellectual level and understanding of life and ability to communicate in people's influence is too high for their level of insecurity, whether you want them to like you or not, whether you play dumb, try to hide, clock in, and go the other way, they coming. You don't control the insecurity in another person. You can't make nobody like you. You can't make nobody not like you. People that don't like you because they don't like themselves. People that don't like you because they want to be you. People that don't like you because you get the attention that you get, and they don't get it and they feel like they deserve it, and they can tell you why. Ain't nobody more important than you. Don't let me catch you out here with your head down in front of nobody. Robert Greene wanted us to know that everybody is insecure. But an insecure boss can retaliate in ways that supersede the ways that others can affect you. Think about it. Never outshine the master. Is that not another way of saying when that police officer pull you over, when you riding down the road, you make sure he can see your hands and you make sure you say, yes, sir? So where's the truth factor in the first law of the 48 laws of power? Never outshine your master. But one of truth must know who their master is, because ancient texts have let us know that you can't serve two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. Like, what is a master? A master is one who has authority over you, control over you, possession over you, dictates and determines legal and political and social issues for you. And you have to ask yourself, up to this point, who has been your master? Or how many masters have you had? How many masters have you attempted to serve, even right now? And then after you're done with all of the things that you can see with your physical, natural eyes, you get around to the spiritual things, like the concepts you hold of God. And even inside of that is a perpetual ping pong back and forth between the divided nature that we have grown accustomed to, where we think that one day God is good, the next day God is condemning. Psycho-Cybernetics is a book that I think should be a prerequisite for everybody before they turn 21 to read. With all the other stupid laws they come up with, I think that they could implement something like that for me. If not, whatever. I could just recommend that everybody reads Psycho-Cybernetics. There was a concept in Psycho-Cybernetics that I had never seen or heard anywhere else until I encountered the book. And that philosophy was, one cannot outperform his or her own self-image. And when you marry that with the universal truth of one's true self-image being the image and likeness of his and her creator, then partner that with Robert Greene's Never Outshine the Master, understanding that the master is I am within me, who originated and designed all things, and now abides freely on the inside of all beings that experience life. And trust me, you will definitely know when it's not just word salad, when it's not just lip service, that I am is your master. Because when I am is your master and your only master, and the one whom you really serve and seek to please and depend on, all of those other masters that you have leaned on in the past, they're going to come running behind you trying to bring you back to the plantation. They're going to try to whip you back into being a good servant. They're going to try to chop your heel off so you can never run again. But if I am is truly become your master, you'll set your mind on the things above. And even in persecution and rejection, you'll experience the peace that not only surpasses understanding, but the peace that you were designed for and come from. Never attempt to outshine the master because it's impossible. It's a waste of time. Lock in.